Hi there, Serial Trader here. Let's have a look at WYNN. And it's been a little while since the last video. Now I mentioned before that didn't want to do too big of a position or do anything too crazy with this until after earnings, and sure enough, we had earnings there. And then we had a nice dump down on earnings, made a lower low, although not that much lower. So the previous low, which was a low, it just wasn't the low. It actually had a nice little upside trade, not a trend changing trade, but decent trade nonetheless. So this low before was at 151.02, got as high as 163.84. So that's not a bad move at all. Or sorry, 167.59, even better. But it didn't prove to hold, and earnings brought us down in what I think is possibly just the final move down in this overall sequence. And now we have a low, which is 146.26. So maybe five or so dollars lower than the previous low. Not that substantial on a anything that can be $150 to $200 stock, for instance. It's not enormous. Okay, now what's important here is we actually have some bullish divergence now where we didn't before. So typically, when you have a major bottom, it should have some divergence. We didn't have that on this. Okay, so in retrospect, that should have been a little more suspicious, but now we have it. So bullish divergence on our MACD moving averages, and a bullish divergence on RSI here on the daily chart. So simply put, we have a lower low in price, but a higher low on these technicals. So that's just showing you a weakening of the downward momentum. And now, if we go in closer here, and remember this is for a larger, intermediate wave 4, and then we'll be expecting intermediate wave 5 once this overall 3-wave ABC down completes. And it looks really close to doing so, if not already in place. And also I like, okay, so this C wave here, I like the structure because now we have a very clear 5 waves down to finish our C wave, right? Whereas before we didn't have that. And let me just drop the degree down. One more than that. Yeah, that should be good. So now we do have a clear 5-wave structure down in place for our C wave, so that looks very good, very mature. And I can't rule a marginally lower low, but at the minimum I can say most of the downside should be behind us now. So great time to be averaging into some stock or some longer term calls. And I'll be looking at some more December calls here shortly. Now, just going in a little closer, if we go to the hourly chart, we'll go a little closer than that. Let's go to the 15-minute. So right now, from our so far our absolute bottom at 146.28. So from there, we have potentially a little 5 up. But then we have this retracement, and it looks not that clear, and it's very deep. So we potentially have our first impulse up on a small time frame and our first retracement, although this needs to turn around, and we need to get up here, get above this high, and ideally in third wave fashion, really break out. That would kind of reinforce that, okay, now we have a tradable low end. But if we do end up making a lower low, I don't imagine it'll be that much deeper here. So definitely this one of the situations for a longer term position, you want to be averaging into this. And that's going to be my strategy going forward here. But you could certainly make the case that we have a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, maybe we just have some sort of ugly but possible ABC down. I don't particularly like the structure here, but hey, it's a 15-minute price chart, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Now getting back out to that daily, just looking real nice here. Just needs to start turning around, and it'd be good to get above that T line on the daily. We know how important that is, regaining that for you know, getting the trend heading in the other direction. So continue to watch WYNN. I think it presents a great opportunity here for a longer term move up to well above its previous high eventually, which was 203.63. So hopefully that's of use to you. Serial Trader signing off.